Welcome everybody to another edition of Telescope Vision's Golden Generation. And today we actually have a really exciting episode lined up for you guys. The guests that I have on board today are two phenomenal visionaries, brilliant innovators. They are the founders of Merge app. They are the recipient of 2 articles from the founder and the Fast Company. And they really are just the embodiment of what it is to pursue your dreams and really be living in it. So please welcome Brandon, Bate and Zander Matthee.
Thanks, man.
Too kind.
Yeah. I'll give you a solid A on the intro.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't bad.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us. It was actually nice. I mean, it was nice to hear, when you reached out to us. Interestingly enough, I wanted to know, how did you come across, with your journey? Like, let's start with you if we're talking about it as well. How did you come across us and
Merge app.
Us as founders, and what the interest for you?
What really interested me about you guys is one of my friends, I don't know if you know him, I think he went to school with you guys, Joseph and Elijah.
Yeah.
Of course.
He was like the founder of Cerebral, so he was telling me like, yo,
used to go there
these guys are like powerful, like
That event was awesome.
it's a powerful event. So he was telling me about you guys, and you should really think about getting Brandon and Zander on the podcast. That are really interesting to hear about things from an entrepreneurship type of viewpoint, but more so just like hearing their story, because like you guys have started this thing at such a young age and you managed to sustain it at the same time. So I'm sure there's a beautiful journey of how you guys managed to start this thing.
I mean, it's not beautiful, but I mean, it's a journey. I mean, you can't have sunshine
We're
without
still
rain.
getting to the destination.
Okay, I get you.
But I mean, in saying that, I mean, it's been the best, and I think it's more been about, pursuing, back to what you were saying, pursuing the things that you're passionate about.
Yeah.
But also the journey of self-discovery. There's so many like critical core concepts to go through to get to this point. Self-discovery being one of them, and that knowing that that's a journey. It's not you're not going to know from the start, and it's a lifelong journey. And doing something that you're passionate about with your best mates can't get any better. Doing something that impacts people's lives is something that's pretty important to the both of us.
Yeah, I think we've had definitely like a strong purpose that this whole company's been built on. Impacting people's lives. We've always, our main purpose in sale is, why did you start this company? And the thing behind that was like, we went to privileged schools and whatnot, but
most people didn't.
Yeah, most people people don't have the network. I can go to my dad, blah blah blah, hook me up with a contact. But there's lots of great ideas in South Africa and across Africa that don't have the network to get the idea off the ground, or small business. So basically there's a step in the startups. Like you go from ideation to family and friends. Not everyone has those great family and friends. So we try to eradicate that or level the playing field.
It's actually quite important that what you said is like in any journey in anything, like business, relationships, driving a car, taking the first steps, if you're a toddler and we learn to crawl, we can't count how many times we got up and we fell. I would probably say it's about maybe over 1,000 times, right?
Sure.
And if you take that same comparison and you apply it to anything else in life, right? If we were toddlers and we decided, after my 5th attempt, I don't want to do this anymore, we'd all be crawling on our ass, not getting anywhere.
Yeah.
And I guess the thing about, what we're trying to say is like, there's stepping stones to getting to where you want in life, be it relationships or business or self-discovery or anything really. And what we're trying to do is we're really trying to, instead of making it like these like rigid steps that are high, we're trying to make it like a free-flowing escalator where you get on board and we try and help people on their way up. And that's exciting. You get a like, what was it like maybe a month ago, we got a phone call randomly the other day.
Yeah.
From this guy, and he came onto our platform. I can't even remember, maybe like a couple of months ago, and he put on his idea. You know? And typically ideas don't get a lot of investment, obviously, but that's a gap that we're bridging, right? And he gave us a call and he was like, "Yo man, I just wanted to give you a call to let you know that I put my idea on here, and within 2 weeks I found somebody that gave me capital, a partnership with a massive corporation, and now I'm busy raising I think it was 2 million rand, and it was all made possible because of what we've done, and that's been pretty cool. That's been pretty cool, and it's more about we wanna induce an environment where people, not just about merch, just in general, like as human beings, we just wanna completely destigmatize this. Tupac said it best, really, when he was like, everyone's like bold, and like blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
All these successful people want to build walls and like boundaries and don't do this, but we need to open up a conversation about collaboration and
sharing economy,
and just like we all humans, so let's make the human society succeed. Which is why we love what you're doing as well, because you shine light on that. You do, which is really cool. And you're also starting out in the journey, which is awesome. And kudos to you, man. It's not easy to do. Most people won't do it.
Most people don't even take the leap. We've noticed I've been at school varsity, even out of varsity. I've got this business. This is the idea.
Tell me about it.
Pretty fucking like 3 months later, how's it going? No. Well, obviously,
it's still in the same place, still talking about it.
We're not even closely profitable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We've been going for like.
When was the merge app or the company established? Actually?
So it's super interesting, really. We came up with the concept while we were still in grade 11, actually. So that's 2015, right?
Yeah.
So that's
long ago. That's a bit of dedication.
We came up, but see, that's what I'm saying. There's a process. There's so much process involved that you need to actually realize about it. So we came up with the concept in like 2015, right? But we were like exactly what Brand's saying. We had the idea, and what we were going to do about it. So had the idea about the end of the year, and then we were like, look, this is something that we want to do. This is something interesting. This is doing a trick in 2016, and the long story, which you're going to get, is basically, we knew that, we were born, we were both born, and we know each other very well. We were born with this innate talent, and I think everyone is. I just think people need to just spark it. You just need people to encourage you. If I came up with the idea, or if he came up with an idea, and we said, no, you can't do this, you're not going to, it's not going to happen, it's not going to work. You need people to foster you, and you bring those people into your lives. And we're lucky that we have one another and like supportive parents, luckily. But not in the sense of like financial support or anything like that. They just encouraged us to pursue what we wanted to do. And so what happened was, the first step was, okay, cool, this is a brilliant idea. So what do we do? And the only thing that we knew what we knew how to do was talk to people. So we, I asked the people around me, I've got this idea, who should I talk to? And that
but exactly, coming back to my point, like, a lot of people don't have that.
Exactly.
Who can I talk to?
Exactly.
Yeah. You know what I mean? That's
exactly. That's the problem, right? And it's quite crazy. Like, we've almost solved the problem that we had, or that people have. And as we've grown, we keep solving the problems that we encounter. So it's not like you come across this idea, this was cool, jumping on a new train doing this or this. It's more about like, you see a problem, solve a problem for yourself, and because everyone deals with the same shit, you're probably going to solve the problem for millions of people. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely.
And like, what ended up happening is we ended up talking to like different people. Who can you help us with? Who can you help us with? Who can you help us with? And as the journey went on, we went from referral to like, okay, we had this idea, okay, pitch it to these guys. What do they say about it? And we always had this mindset of like, we're not right. This is the idea. Let's talk to the people that know. And I think we still use that mindset today, really. And we went, who do we know? What can they tell us? And we iterated, and they told us. And I mean, obviously we had school, so I mean, we couldn't do crazy stuff. But I mean, we were bunking class for like meetings and doing this and doing all this other stuff. But that was a while ago. And then we were fortunate enough to bump into our first angel investor, Chris Peters. And by the time, you know, like I said, the crawl to walk, by the time we got to Chris, we had refined what we wanted to do, how we're going to do it. We nailed everything down based on feedback, right? And we use people as mirrors, inspiration, like mirrors and all this, you know, all these different things. And it was, you know, the craziest thing. I mean, if you put our first pitch, you know, when we talk to someone, it was like a 3-hour conversation, like dragging, like, trust me, it works like this. But then
our first ever meeting was like at Saints at the high ground. We literally go up there, have this idea, like not even a business plan, like just this idea. Okay, so this is a thing, no one really gets it. How much you need? Like 3 million rand.
Yeah.
And they're like, bruh,
go away.
what do you mean? Send me something like, what's this? So like, yeah, we're just lucky enough to go through the motion, get the advice, finally get in front of the right person.
Which is important. The right
person. Yeah. Chris Peters, it takes long. Like, I would say about 12, 13 meetings. Lots of people would just bank straight out, right out of that. You know,
Yeah.
like, okay, 2, 3, fuck, you're not giving me money.
Yeah.
They were just giving up, bro.
I'm bouncing. Right? So it takes time. So 2019 we got investments from Chris.
Yeah, and just, sorry to interrupt you, man. Just like on that point, is like, you know, we had it nailed so well that it took us 15 minutes. And the guy was like, okay, cool, I'm in, I get it, I want it, we'll start in 2 months.
What, 15 minutes?
Yeah.
And we're like, no, this is not...
We couldn't believe that it happened. And, you know, funny enough, and like as we tell our story, you'll see that all the moments, the pivotal moments in our lives have all been like that, where it's been, you know, pain and buffering, and then 15 minutes sold. Pain and buffering, 15 minutes sold.
Yeah, you're working for those 15.
You work, you know, it's you know, it's like the Usain Bolt theory, right? He trained his whole life to run, what's it?
58 seconds.
Yeah, something like stupid, like under 2 minutes,
seconds,
whatever.
Yeah,
you know
no,
what
it's
I mean?
like all these medals and total, but like, he trains his whole life.
Exactly, but it's about right time, right place, know your stuff, stick to it. And so that was when we thought we were going to make it. We're going to be billionaires. I was signing leases. No, I mean, I should have, not really, but like,
we knew nothing.
We thought, we knew nothing. I mean, because we came straight out of school.
Yeah.
We had the opportunity to study, and then, you know, we made a decision. We could have gone anywhere really, and studied whatever we wanted to, but we made this, like, I don't even know how it came about. You know, we just made this decision, and it wasn't even a conversation.
Yeah,
we're going to do this, right?
Obviously dropping out of varsity.
Yeah, we're obviously going to try this, right?
Because we're like, you can always come back, you know, like, give it 2-3 years, you make no loot, you can go back to Vega.
Yeah, you know, and like, it's the whole journey about preparing yourself to execute in the time is everything. You know, Abraham Lincoln said, you know, if I had 9 hours to chop down a tree, I'd spend 8 hours sharpening my axe. You know, your internal is looking to receive a certain level, right? But your input is at a different level. So it's a mismatch, it's an imbalance, and that's what anxiety is, right? So it's all about, well, number one, you know, for me, which is super interesting, is like, and it's a thing that's very I don't want to say controversial, but I think it's a harsh thing to say to people because not many people will understand it. And look, I'm not here to judge or say, I'm just speaking from my personal experience with people. You know, like, it's different for everyone, but I believe and it sounds so negative, but I'm the most optimistic person ever. It's if you do things without expectation. So, and that's not just talking about, like, you know, do something without expectation to give it back. You can't expect things from, and it sounds so bad to say, you can't expect things from people, because what that leads to is misalignment completely, because they're their own people with their own issues, with their own story, with their own problems, with their own way of thinking, and now you, this random person, expects them with all that shit to understand your thinking and what you want them to do. That's never going to work.
Yeah.
And it's not about lowering your standards, it's about, it brings peace, right? And for me, I've been trying to figure out what is happiness, right? Like what brings joy? And I would say, I don't know. Well, I know what I want to say, but you need to
it's from within, you know, like happiness, success, you know, whatever you want to call it, but different. But like, for some people, like surfing on the beach every day is perfectly
blissful.
You know what I mean? But some other people want to make an impact in other people's lives, etc. So I mean,
so on that, exactly that, right? So exactly that point. For some person, happiness is this. Another human being who has all this different experience, like we're extremely similar, right? But we are so far apart, like we are so not the same at the same time, right? And if one person's happiness is not another person's happiness, you can't rely on another person to provide you the happiness. You need to come to the table, and that's, I mean, in our business, I think that's why we've done so well. Slam. I think that's why we've done so well, is because we come to the table with our cups full. We don't come in asking, you know, I don't ask him for, you know, fill me up with, you know, fill my gap in what makes me, you know, happy. Better, for sure. That's a different conversation. But don't, you know, you need to come to the table being fulfilled, or not even being fulfilled, but working towards your own fulfillment, which is super important. And you know, I read something, I think it was in the Will Smith book, which is obviously now going to be tuned. But I did read it, and it's actually a brilliant book.
Yeah.
And what he does is he breaks down each chapter into words. So will, obviously being his name, but also the power of will, you know, like willpower.
Yeah.
You know, so he breaks it up into like, you know, like inferno, grace, power, all the different things.
Yeah.
And he said something there which was, for me, I think, a complete mind shift, you know. And I mean, you tell me what you think about it, but like happiness, people equate happiness to, like happiness and joy are different, right? You know what I mean? Joy is short term, right? Happiness joy is the weather, happiness is the climate. You get what I'm saying? It's the long-standing thing it's the thing that's always there. And what is, because everyone wants to be happy, right? I think, for me at least, I can't speak for anyone else, but for me, and I don't know all the answers, but part of what makes happiness a thing is not pleasure, but peace. You know? Happiness is when you know, joy, when there's pleasure, there's joy. But when there's peace, there's happiness. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, in a way.
Because joy is a short-term thing. It's something that comes like this. You know, you go out with your mates, it's a great time, joyful moment.
Wouldn't you say that's happiness though? Because like happiness is like based on a circumstance, whereas joyful is like eternal, like it's within you. It's in your nature.
So 100%, right? So whether you believe joy is eternal or happiness is eternal, right? Whether either or.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to say is that there's, I don't know the definitions, right?
Okay.
But there's one definition that's a short-lived thing, and one that's a long-term thing. Whether the short-term is happiness and the long-term is joy, or whether they're vice versa.
Okay.
What I believe is that peace provides long-term joy and or happiness, depending on what you believe it is.
100%, bro.
You know, because I've never experienced more, you know, like radiant, happy, like positive energy than when I've had a sustained period of peace. Peace being, you know, with yourself, with your family, with your relationships, with your, you know, your business and what you do, and you've got to and bring it back to what I was saying. You've got to set time aside. You've got to set time aside to try and create that environment, meaningfulness, mindfulness. I'm not an expert at it. But I'm a very curious student on the subject. Very, very curious on, you know, how to better yourself so that you can, you know, because at the end of the day, you know, you wake up and look in the mirror and you there, you know, and you spend, you know, you could spend I spend like fucking 27 hours on this side. I'm joking. But like you could spend, you know, hours with your friends, hours with your girlfriend, hours with everyone else, but you spend the most time with yourself. It's all about creating that environment that is constructive for yourself. And that allows you to do, you know, all the things, because you can, if you are happy with yourself and you know what you want to do, you can start your own business. You can take a risk on an opportunity because there's belief in yourself. You don't need other people to validate it for you. And that's important. That's
very
important.
I mean, just touching on that now, I mean, like, just from the sounds of it, and obviously from your results, I mean, you guys obviously have very deeply entrenched, like, belief systems, but, like, an empowered mindset.
Yeah,
and I think that's very important, because, I mean, if you look at the youth in our country today, like, in our generation, there are so many young kids who have so many ideas, but they let their limiting belief hold them back, and also that coupled with, like, inaction. So, like, I want to ask you guys, like, what was like the driving force that allowed you to keep on going despite having so many hiccups in those early periods of the development stage?
Belief. You know, we had belief in the end goal. Literally backing ourselves, self-confidence. You know, really, if you back the product, you know, we're delivering to the society. You know, we're not. For me, I think the values behind and the beliefs behind what Merge is doing is, we know in our heart that Merge is, you know, it's gonna change the world, right? And nothing's gonna stop us, right? So obviously, you know, that's what drives our belief. You know, like, let's say for example, like we're looking today while we're waiting, like StockX, like a sneaker website's not gonna, if that,
I mean, like, redefines consumer behavior.
Yeah, sure, like, cool. But you know, like, I can buy my sneakers anywhere else.
Yeah.
Right? So like, if I got shut down a bit early, if I was starting StockX, obviously the margins.
I mean, he must
and
love
money,
shoes.
and
which
he
is
must be making so much money.
Yeah.
But if I got shut down through that journey, I'd be like, cool, I'm not. But I know the purpose behind Merge. You know, and I know it's going to change lives.
I think,
you know, change economies, like you're saying. You know, the general population of Africa is underprivileged, no opportunity, lacking XYZ. But we here to, you know, level the playing field.
can I tell something
So
exciting?
that's what's been driving us to this level, because we know there's greater purpose behind us.
So I think purpose is one. So that's basically purpose, right? It's like understanding why you're doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
And you know, even though Brian bashed StockX, which is true
No,
for us. No, it's true
no.
for it's true for us.
It's just
Yeah.
like
But for him-
it's a sneaker shop.
But but what I'm saying is like that's it is that.
Just bashed them.
But
Like, we're
that's
$2 billion.
for us. You know, I mean, you know, that's for him.
Yeah.
That's his passion. That's his purpose. That's what he loves.
No, sure.
You get what I'm saying? No, but for us, never gonna work.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, to think about it, like, I mean, it all depends what you mean with the question of, you know, what's driven us to where, because I mean, in different phases it's been different things. So, I mean, in the early stage when it was just an idea phase,
Okay.
I think that's belief in yourself. I think that's belief in yourself, and then you know, going from sitting to stand, you know, to crawling. You know, belief in yourself is the first thing that you need, and then, you know, once you've done that belief in yourself, and by the miracle of whatever, you know, you've discovered that what you believe in actually has something to create value. Your belief shifts from, you know, not purpose from yourself, purpose to the world. You know, it's you know, I was thinking about it the other day actually. It was like, I'm doing things for myself, by myself, for the world. You know?
That's powerful, man.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
Like, when you think about it, like, in retro, like, whoa, okay.
And for me, that's kind of the core essence of it. It's yourself first. You've got to do it, and then once you understand what you're doing, that purpose has to bleed into
but also,
everything else.
You know, you don't have to start with this giant wall.
Yeah, have to start with
you can just influence your community, Southern Hill, let's just take it. Then you can influence Joburg, then South Africa, then the world, you know. You don't have to look at this, for example, let's say you've done 30 podcasts. You haven't got 2 billion viewers yet, but you're influencing...
Yet.
Yet. But you've influenced a certain community.
Yeah.
Right?
But that's
what should keep you going, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is the world, but, you know, that's what's going to keep you going.
Yeah.
I've influenced 300 people, 1,000 people, 50 million.
Yeah.
Yeah. Before you know it.
That's true.
I do think though, on like a different note, I do think though that there's like a weird, I don't know, what do you think about it? I mean, we talk about it a lot, especially after a couple of beers, but like, like I think there's a massive impact in two ways. That in the way that, like, I don't think we know this. I think you do eventually get to know it, and I think most people do, but I think it's our duty to like try and make people at least hear the thought about it. It's not a fact or anything, it's just an idea. That I think your upbringing has a massive thing to play in everything. Not just in, you know, the small things, in the big things, you know, like, you can inherit, you know how you can inherit like a bad hairline, right? You know, you can inherit someone's eyes, you can inherit someone's height, but there's so many other things that you can inherit as well. So just starting off with the core of that, and I'll get into what I was really saying, is like, you can not only just inherit that, but you can also inherit, I mean, just think about it. But no one thinks it. I mean, I don't know, have you thought about it?
Yeah.
Like, you can inherit, if you can inherit eye color, can you not inherit fears? Can you not inherit, beliefs?
Well, of course.
Like your environment shapes
and I'm not, and this
lion's not fearful.
Exactly.
A fish is.
Exactly.
So you mean, imagine a lion being brought up by a fish.
So
it's not going to work.
It's not going to work. It's not going to work. It's not going to work at all. Exactly that. And, you know, there's that like born, you know, parental stuff that you get. But then there's the upbringing, which is like a little, you know, slam dunk on it as well. And it's our duty to internalize our own values and see what works.
What are you guys' values, if you don't mind asking?
Still trying to figure it out, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
You know, I'm still trying to figure it out.
The basics, you know, do good to others.
Yeah?
Yeah, like the basic values, obviously morals, but you know, like values that we're still trying to attain is a lifetime journey, you know.
But I think the core values, because so I think the core thing, right, about the whole value thing is, value is a verb. If you put it in that context, it's a doing thing. I think that the values that you have are the values that you give. I just thought about that now, but like that makes a lot of sense, you know, because like I provide value, right? So provides a verb, but like, you know, you provide the value. It's the thing that you give. So what is that thing? And you know, for me, it's, I mean, just like business. I mean, business. It's all integrated. But I mean, for me, it's like Brandon says, it's like doing good to others. But it's about doing good to others, making the world a better place. You know, is a good thing. But just, you know, my dad always used to say, when you enter a room, you got to leave it in a better place than you found it.
I love that. It's powerful.
And that's the way that I want to do it. And whether the room is, you know, 7 cameras, or you know, a Zoom meeting in front of me or whatever. Your goal's always got to be to leave the place in a better place that you found it. And leave it with love and grace. You know what I mean? Like, you know, the currency in society is money, but the currency for the universe is love. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, highest frequency, man.
And that's the stuff that we need to share. We need to share, and love comes in so many different forms. It's like, you know, love for what you do, love for one another, love for neighbor, all these different things. So it's really just about putting yourself in the best position to make a positive impact on other people is kind of how I want to put it. And that's like multi-phased, you know, and all of those have like millions of journeys that you need to go through. But that's the thing. You gotta put yourself, and you know, they say, I don't know, do you think selflessness is, well, obviously, they're going to contradict each other, but many people view selflessness to be selfish, or self-care to be selfish.
I don't think it's selfish at all.
I think self-care is selflessness, because, like I said, you can't give if you don't have anything to give.
No, and that's what Chris was saying, our first investor.
Yeah.
I was actually on the golf course with him, you know, like,
What'd you shoot?
one of my 83. One of my past exes. And she moved countries, and like, are you still with her? I'm like, oh, I still love her, you guys. And then he's like, you know what? I mean, in the context of what he's saying is, the most important person in the whole world is yourself. So you've always got to look after yourself first. It's not a selfish thing, but if you look after yourself and you're happy, then you're gonna
do more,
deliver happiness to others.
Exactly. So I mean, that's already.
That stuck with me. Dude.
Yeah.
Like,
that's deep.
At the end of the day, you are the most important person. Like, come on.
But to do good
in a bad way.
And it's not in a bad way, because to do good unto yourself will only allow you to do good unto others.
Yeah. And you know, like, if I have 10 rand, I'll give someone else 9.
That's I think that's.
I've got to keep the one to make money.
Maybe the start arbitrage.
But I'll literally, if I have 10 rand, I'll let you give it away.
So I don't know if you can like put that in that's something it's like a short value answer, but like that's essentially what it is. You know, I think like mainly, I guess you could say I'm not going to speak for you, which is like, since it's being profound, is I guess my values are to provide value to others.
Would you guys say that both your values? Okay, sorry.
No, sorry, because what your original question was actually about empowerment. I think empowerment's the most important thing in the world. Well, one of them.
Yeah.
Empowerment in the sense of, just like personal empowerment.
Okay.
We've got to, with anything that anyone's facing, we've got to have the, there's shit that happens, and it's horrible, man. There's bad stuff going on in the world, and I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying that it's a thing, but what I do know, all that I do know is that if there's if you value yourself, you make that empowerment process easier. That's it. Nothing more than that. We've got to start valuing ourselves again as people. Social media is a fuck up. And it's not. I wouldn't say it's like.
It's a great tool, but like people.
It's a great tool.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying it's like a purposeful thing. It's just, 20 years ago we didn't know this was gonna happen. Now, how the hell are we meant to know how it's gonna impact us?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like we basically like the first astronauts going to space.
Going to the meta.
Literally. We don't know. We don't know. We don't know where, how these things will impact us and so on.
Yeah. Speaking of the metaverse, I mean, how do you guys see Merge App trying to bridge the gap between the current market space and the blockchain space?
We've tried to navigate that whole concept so many times, deciding should Merge have its own coin, because obviously we've got ventures and investors. So we focused a lot on smart contracts, where we think we're going to go. We've just employed a new developer where is quite clued up on that. So we're definitely going to go that route. It's just about, you've got to educate yourself so well on that stuff before you enter, because otherwise it'll just get totally destroyed. You'll waste money, and it's I've always thought Web3, what is Web3? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We're still in such adolescence where no one really knows what it is. So you've got to navigate, find the right information. But yeah, it's definitely a route of ours.
So, no. So what I was going to say was just a short side note is problems never change. The ability to solve them does with tech. The human problem of connecting people with one another has never changed. It's always been a thing. You know, first it was Facebook.
Yeah.
Right. That was, you know, Web 2. Well, that was
Even like
first the internet. Right?
Email,
exactly.
email.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's exactly Web 1.
Yeah.
Then Facebook took that same problem and just provided a better solution.
Yeah.
Web 3 solves. So why Web 3 is exciting, right? It's because all the problems that currently exist can now be resolved in a better way.
Okay.
Everything.
It's actually gone that a full circle. Web 1 was mails and that stuff. Web 2 is public information and social. Web 3 has gone totally encrypted and tracking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the way that we see ourselves, I mean, without, you know, we can't like divulge in what we're going to do, otherwise the predator's going to steal us. But like, you know, we've got, so we're busy talking to people that can assist in coins, you know, creating a value-based currency on startups, right? So a currency, because how does, you know, currency is confidence, right? If I give you 100 Rand, the only reason you take it is because you know if I have this 100 Rand can buy me something. So the only way that you can build confidence in cryptocurrency is if the mass adopts it as a form of trade, right? So what's the first step in doing that? Business accepting money, which is what we do.
Yeah, other stuff we can't really.
So there's that.
There's a sensitive one.
Then there's the other stuff that we can talk about in the NFT space, we're busy working on. Then there's obviously, you know, let's just say every agreement ever made has to be fulfilled because of the blockchain smart contracts. There's a lot of moving parts that we're working on.
We are definitely not sleeping on
we're not sleeping on that. It will be coming. It really is just a matter of time, and that's also you know, brings us to where we are now. You know, like we're raising $1 million now, which is not much, at a 10 million valuation, looking to basically, you know, take what we've built into, you know, throughout Africa. You know, Africa's been such a crazy market, you know. Do you know that Africa is the fastest growing SME investment economy in the world, threefold over every other economy from last year?
Yeah.
Sure. I never knew that. That's crazy.
The amount of money,
Africa's pumping.
the amount of money, so amount of capital come in. I don't know if I'm switching these two around, but you can just check it out.
Yeah.
It's either, so the amount of money flowing in has gone up just shy of 300%. The amount of deals has gone up by just shy of 100%. We've, you know, in 2019, like these are more or less numbers. I think in 2019 it was something like $800 million was invested in the whole continent, which is zero, right? Then 2020 it went up to 1.2, right? Or like 1.4, right? Last year was 5.5.
This is obviously just startup. It's not like oil mines.
Oh, okay, now.
The first quarter of this year we're already on 2 billion. Do you know, like, the growth that this continent and the potential that this continent has is ridiculous. You know, because we face real world problems. I'm not solving how to microwave my milk quicker. You know what I mean? It's real world shit.
Yeah.
And there's a population of almost 2 billion people on the continent. And we need to start working together. And we cut the borders apart completely. There's way too many countries well, from what I believe, that's in the continent. And I believe, you know, there needs to be so much more interconnectedness. It's the United States of America, United States.
So they're all different countries, essentially.
Essentially, right? That's why they have governors. They all have the way the political system is run.
Africa should be one.
Exactly. It should be one.
So much powerful. So many resources here.
Dude, like natural, intellectual, technological. We just need to start working together and join merge.
Yeah. I'm really curious. I mean, like, with that 10 million valuation, that US dollars, right? Do you guys feel pressure to be making risky moves in order to make sure that you guys are going in a direction towards like aggressive growth?
I mean,
to justify that, to justify that valuation.
No, the numbers justify the valuation.
Okay.
So, when you're in a very early stage, your valuation is based on risk, right?
Okay.
But when you're at a stage where we are, which isn't like at the end, but there's a blend of history and opportunity.
Yeah, and market. It's all about your market that you're serving, the traction you've done. I mean, we've seen startups raise $2-3 million in a seed round.
Pre-seed.
Yeah, with no revenue.
But it's a killer team.
Yeah, it's a killer team, great model, market's huge. They've done some sort of demo where it's not real revenue, but they've tested the market. You know? So yeah, of course we're going to take those risks.
I mean, risk is a part of the game.
Yeah, I mean that's the whole story. It's the word. I mean, it's the riskiest asset class
in the world,
game, you know?
by far.
If you don't want to be risky, then invest in gold.
Yeah.
You know, so in venture capital, the riskier the better, because it's risky anyway. So I'm just going to back.
Yeah.
Obviously, risky, but with knowledge behind it.
And I mean that's what we're building into the platform as well. We want to, South Africa as a macro is like very risk. Well, I'm going to probably step on some toes, but it's fine. Like we used to be the #1 SME economy. We're now sitting third, very closely coming into fourth, and that's in like 3-4 years. Why? Because the guys who back, they've got the wrong mindset. They're very risk averse. They say they do. So you get idea, right, which is not really a thing, but like you get idea, then you get like, idea, MVP, which is minimal viable product, which you test and like it's not, pre-revenue generating. Then you get pre-seed, seed, then series,
series A, real business.
Series A, blah, 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 blah. Most of the people most of the venture capital firms in our country say they do seed, but they only get involved in Series A. And when they say they do seed, they position themselves as like, I want to invest in your...
Most venture capital firms here, their criteria is like 5 years in business,
10 million in revenue, which is wrong.
Are you backing startups or are you like a bank?
The big thing about that is,
and
what we're doing is, if you look at it like this, right, it's a triangle. You can always look at it as like a population chart.
Okay.
We are putting too much money into later stage businesses, which means that the money is not flowing into early stage businesses, right? Meaning pre-seed, early stage companies. So what's going to happen in 10 years from now? That means all those companies are going to make money off, but now you're not going to have any new ones coming in. And what we do is we plug that gap completely.
Yeah, that's something we learned. We went there in that first meeting I was telling you about.
Yeah.
Can I have 3 million rand? No. But what Merge is doing, because we've got investors at the idea phase, MVP, pre-seed, seed, is from idea, all you need is, let's say you use golden generation.
Yeah.
All you need to take your business to the next level is not 1 million rand. You need 100,000 rand maybe for better camera, better gimbals, better lights. Then from that, you can go, okay, cool, I've got X amount of years, now I can ask for 1 million rand. You know what I mean? So we felt that a lot of plugging those gaps.
Yeah. Okay. Look, we've taken the internationally accepted methodology about product, and we've applied it to investment. So there's a book called The Lean Startup, right?
Okay.
Which is all about when you create something, it's build, measure, learn. 3 steps, right? You build something, you measure it, you see what works, what doesn't, what should change, you build it, you measure what happens, and you learn from it, and then you build, measure, learn, build, measure, learn, build, measure, learn. The startup space is exactly the same, because that is what startups do. They build, then they measure, then they learn, and then they build a better business. So what we do is we've completely opened the ecosystem where newcomer investors, early stage investors can find small ticket size companies, right? Invest in them. Those companies then prove their product, go to the next phase. From there, they raise money into that stage. From there, they build the next thing. Bang, bang. We watch too many movies where we've seen Mark Zuckerberg go into a room, like let's say the social network, I want $25 million. Like that doesn't happen. You need, for each stage of the business, you need capital. And we've been lucky, like what we are doing is we are blowing that entire space apart. We are allowing people with their 13th check, 100K or 50K or whatever, to up to whatever you want, to invest into very early stage businesses, or they can partake in huge, but into the successful ones at the end, right? They can do that. We forming syndicates with angel investors, where they can invest in the medium-sized ones. We partner with 100 VCs where they can invest in those guys. So every step in the process, we fill the gap, and we bridge that, and the thread that drives through is the platform with knowledge, network, mentorship, and people.
That's powerful. I mean, right now, what's the current venture to investor ratio?
I think it's 1 to 4. Yeah, 1 is to 4.
Damn.
So I mean, people are out there and they're looking to put money behind. Which is, let's put it like this. It took us 20 meetings, 30 meetings to find one investor. You come onto our platform, 1 in 4 will probably connect.
That's amazing. I mean, what would you say have been the biggest lesson, I'd say, micro and macro, since you guys have started the business?
Micro, I'd say, lesson or like obstacle.
Obstacle, I said challenge. I say challenge.
So micro. So I mean, I don't know how we've done it, but we've been lucky enough to, we've been blessed with the talents that we've had to, be pretty good at marketing, great at product design, great at like business management, organization, all this stuff, branding, or majority of those things. But as you scale, micro side, more people.
We've been undersold.
Yeah.
We found where a micro obstacle would be there's too much work on our hands. So like we'd come up with these great structures and organizations and how we should work, and then something else comes in that's more important and we just defaults on that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
you need a football, it's called, the reason why sports teams are successful is because they're sports teams.
Yeah.
You can't have 2 strikers, no midfield, no defense, no goalie.
But we're lucky enough now that we've just employed two awesome individuals.
Yeah, rock stars.
So now we're trying to, get over the micro stage.
Yeah.
But I think macro would be...
I think macro is perception. Really.
Okay.
I think perception, challenge is in the... But in the African perception, it's shifted. In the African perception, the macro problem has shifted into a opportunity.
Okay.
As I said, how it's grown, from what I said earlier. But in a macro sense, government, legislation, the way that the market perceives risk and startups, in the South African market, specifically on a macro scale, is a problem. It's a massive problem. It's a fucking massive problem. But luckily we're a borderless platform. We've got massive footprint in West Africa and East Africa, and we take the learnings from there. I mean, those guys are moving money and building incredible businesses. And we need to learn. We need to stop looking with our blinkers like this. If you're too focused on bringing it back to what we were saying about the outcome.
Yeah.
Right? If you're too focused on the outcome, we shouldn't determine what the outcome is. The outcome is going to happen regardless. You're going to know where you want to go. But if you're too focused, so let's say for example, this car. Let's say I want this car, I want this car, I want this car, I want this black Porsche, I want this black Porsche.
I think it's a Citroen.
What's going to happen? Yeah. I think it's a Citroen. I want this Citroen or whatever. I want this, I want this, I want this. Life hands you a red one, a blue one, a green one, but you're so focused on this that you don't take those other ones.
And it could be better than that.
And it's going to be better than that. So don't be so... Make your vision accurate, but keep it open. You've got to look at what's coming.
Yeah, don't be so aerodynamic.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the problem is that right now, in the macro scale, is that I think in the South African market, I think we're too narrow. We're way too narrow in what we think we need to do. We're not looking. We think we know what we're doing, but we don't.
I mean, right now, you guys mentioned earlier on that obviously right now Merge App's main or core priorities is Africa right now. Are you guys intending to expand?
We already have.
You already have. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like I said, we're in 5 of the 7 continents.
Yeah.
We work with partners in Japan, the US, Europe, all those different places. But
in the same breath, we still need to get Africa right.
yeah.
Okay.
Most of I think our startups are 50-50. 40, 10, 20. But Nigeria, South Africa.
Mm-hmm.
But we're in Lagos and we're in Nigeria, but just having footprint there doesn't mean you fully operating there.
I think.
Yeah.
No, I was just gonna say. I think also the need is different. Here, access is the problem. Access is a simple thing. In the States, access is not a problem. What we're doing is we the gatekeepers to turn third world economies into first world economies. That's it. And it's very difficult for somebody in Europe to have feet on the ground and looking at what opportunities are here, South America, Southeast Asia, all these different places. But with our platform, like the reason why we built what we did is because, part of the concept was, and what you can do now is, you can just drop a pin in Dubai and you can see every single opportunity that's looking for investment out there. So even though we're African focused, we're solving an African problem for the world. I
get that, yeah. What would you guys say has been, I'd say, the biggest lesson that you've like incurred?
Persistence.
Yeah, and
gratitude, persistence, and
speaking too soon.
Yeah, speaking too soon. Yeah. So speaking too soon.
Yeah.
Speaking too soon.
Yeah, speaking too soon is the one.
And then also I think, so it was speaking too soon, gratitude, persistence, and I think I would even throw like fun in there. You can't. Well, let's start with fun. We wouldn't do what we would do if we weren't having fun.
Yeah.
We try to. When you come into a place, like I said, live in a better place. Come here, try and have fun. You have to enjoy what you're doing. Don't speak too soon.
It's the greatest lesson.
It's the greatest lesson because
we've had big deals like literally signed off on 99%, thinking it's in. Not run your mouth, but like
someone asked how you doing. We said, we just closed the deal.
Deals have fallen through.
And then, but I think the reason why that happens is because
so
the universe shocks you.
Yeah.
The universe knows.
Yeah. The universe is just like, dude, why are you talking so soon?
Why are you talking so soon? Don't open your mouth.
Please don't do that. And then they'll take the carpet under your feet.
Yeah, they'll pull that rag quick.
So now we never say anything until the money's in the bank account.
Yeah, until all the shit happens. And I think it's it almost speaks to like fake it till you make it. I think break it until you make it. You know what I mean? Break your back.
Yeah.
Break your back until you make it. Don't fake it until you make it. Work. Do the stuff. Make sure.
Yeah, what did Drake say the other day? You gotta fake it till you make it, but then you've actually gotta make it.
You can fake it and then you gotta make it.
Yeah, you can fake it all day.
But and I think it's just good energy, man. You gotta focus on yourself. And I'm still learning that. We're also learning that. You've just gotta make yourself good, and put your intentions right. The way your intentions are important. Your intentions are so important. I've noticed that like every time that I speak about it or that I like commit myself to it for like a period of time, things happen. And by intention I don't mean like please, like wishful thinking. It's action. Action is the like
law of attraction.
No, action is the litmus test of intention. You can't have intention without action. If you act towards your intention, then that stuff starts happening. And if you really truly think about that, I think that's good. And then like persistence, obviously. There's so many things, but
it's powerful, man. I'm just reflecting on those lessons. You guys have experienced so much, especially within the business world, but also just in life in general. What advice would you give out there to like a 90-year-old right now in the country? Like 3 keys.
About what though?
Three keys to navigate life and navigate the business world.
Yeah.
I think to navigate life, you need to navigate yourself.
Yeah.
You can't go upward if you don't go inward.
Yeah, you can't go there on tippy toes. You do have to burn your fingers, learn your lesson, and then you will find yourself and find your path in life. If you overthink okay, this is how life's supposed to be. I'm watching other people.
Yeah.
This is how I'm supposed to do life. I can't do X. I can't do
So
Y.
see what he's saying. That's all. See what he's saying. That's all external.
Yeah, it's experience.
Looking.
Yeah, it's experience.
You're looking there. You look here.
You've got to. Life is at the core is experience. So the best way to have life
is to experience as much things as possible.
I might be a different guy in 6 years. I might be a hippie on the beach.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, he's got
so
the hat
I'll, I'll find out. You know?
Yeah.
And that's all life is. You know.
I think exactly what you said. I think experience is massive. Experience is huge. In every sense of the word. Creative. Well, I'm not going to rant on about it because that's a whole 2-hour conversation. But creativity is born from experience. Long story short, creativity is taking an existing idea with a new experience and combining the two. That's creativity. And so there's that. But I think for life, it's experience as much as you can, but experience what you want. And be thrown around. You might not know, and that's fine. Who cares? No one gives a fuck. You know what I mean? Go out there, try shit, fuck up, do this. It's fine. But as long as you always internalize what you do and then mold your way to it. And then in the business world, I would say same thing. Know what you want to do. Well, figure out what you want to do, and even if you don't know what you want to do, try. Experience.
Yeah, work for those 15 minutes.
Experience. You got to get that experience to know what you want to do, and I think persistence. In the sense of things are always going to go wrong. Going wrong is more often than going right. 1 million times. You live for that one moment, right? So there's that. And I would say just really just dive into yourself. I feel like that's what we've been doing a lot. And if you can foster your own foster creativity is what I'd say for business. Don't think about business. If you want to start a business, if you want to go, I'm starting a business, you're in the wrong fit.
Yeah. Do what you have a cheesy one. Do what you love.
Yeah. And bring your creativity to it. Creativity is the thing that makes us different. It's the only thing that makes us different.
Powerful stuff, man. Great words of wisdom. Where do you guys see yourselves in the next 5 years, and where do you guys see Merge at in the next 5 years?
On Mars. In the next 5 years. So let me start. I see ourselves as both as individuals and as a company leading the forefront of change. Whether we are here to catalyze. We are here to catalyze capital, ignite innovation, and integrate investment. So the way I see the company is we are the platform in which we inspire people who want to start a business to do so, provide them the content, provide them the value to do so, people who have businesses to connect with capital. People are looking for opportunities to connect with those people. Just the whole ecosystem of what shapes the world on our platform.
Yeah, as I think like a fully household aspirational brand. Right now there's maybe a few competitors, but they're not aspirational. We always think of ourselves as like the Nike of entrepreneurship.
They say just do it. We say
we try and revolve our branding and about people, youth, empowerment. We want to merge to be a brand that people look up to and be like, hey, I can also start a business, change the world. Right now, people need to be a website. Okay, you can come list your business and find investments. Okay, whatever.
Lame.
But like a young kid or boy or girl that's 7 years old, they don't like shoes. We want them to know
that they can do it. That they can do it.
That they can do it. And dream big, which is our slogan.
That's solid.
I don't know if you heard it, but I'm going to say it again. Nike says just do it. We say dream big.
Dream big. Dream big. You hear that, kids? Dream big.
That's the mic drop.
I really just want to thank you guys for your time.
You thank me for my time. Thank you for yours.
This was really wonderful. I learned so much hearing you guys speak. Just for the listeners out there listening, where can they, obviously, just to find the app and also to find out more about you guys, where can they find you on socials?
So you can find us on all socials.
I think that's merge.app.
Merge.app on Instagram.
I think it's merge_app on Twitter.
Yeah, merge_, but yeah, we merge app on iOS, Android. You can search us merge app on. We also on desktop. We on all platforms. We also, we're free. We don't charge people to, to join our platform because we want to empower people to change their lives. We're not going to charge you a premium if you want to dream big. That's just big.
It's a swap.
Yeah. So you can do that. You can catch Brandon on Insta at, what's it? Brandon Bates.
Yeah, you'll find it.
It's Brandon Bates. Me, it's Zander Matthee with a Z. And yeah, you could just stay tuned, follow the journey, and you're gonna fucking love what you're gonna see.
Yeah, man. I just want to commend you, Zander, also for just showing up and taking the effort to really master yourself and obviously making your full energy and focus to changing the world. That's a commendable feat. And you too, Brandon.
I appreciate that, man.
I really think it's really admirable what you guys are doing with Merge app, and you guys just want to commend you and continue just to push on and really just allow kids to dream big.
Thank you, man.
We'll see you soon.
Away.
Cheers, brother. Thank you.